Was it recording yet?
Yeah, it's recording.
Oh, shoot. This is...
We can cut things out. It's fine.
I'm just saying, but this is our first time
This is our
doing
first
video
time
number
doing it.
1. So,
Okay. What did we just see?
well, we just saw the Thunderbolts.
Who are we? Do we have to do that? Do we have to be like, introduce ourselves?
Well, I guess at some point we can introduce ourselves if the audience even cares.
Right. If we have an audience.
If we have an audience, if you ever care and you want to ask us our name, sure.
We'll tell you eventually.
We'll tell you eventually.
But not today.
If you ever
This
watch
is just
the video.
a test video.
It's a test video.
This is for us.
Yeah, and for you, because you know, to give you the impetus, like I'm me. This is my son. So we're like father
This
and
is
son.
me 1 and me 2.
Right, sure, for the
Two.
moment. Father and son. So we've been watching the Marvel movies
Since
the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Since it first came out.
yeah.
And so we always go to the theater. We still go and watch them together.
Every
time when they first
Except for
come out.
one. We've only not seen one together.
That's true.
That's true. That was my bad.
He bailed on me.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
He
it.
had been so frustrated.
We don't need to talk about that one, but that's fine.
I've seen everyone. in the
You've seen
theater,
everyone. I have not, to be fair.
And I think we've gone on like the first
Every night.
every night when it gets released. We don't go to like the early morning one because I think they got rid of that.
Yeah.
It was before his time, but it used to be that time when it would come out movies. And some of the audience will remember this. Movies would come out Thursday night, Friday morning at 12:01.
And when did they come out now?
Oh, they just come out any old time on Thursday. It doesn't make
2
no sense.
p.m. It was the first showing, I think,
Yeah,
for
2
this
p.m.,
one.
right? So I remember, my first
God.
one that I did, and I think this is even before he was born, I went to see The Matrix.
You saw The Matrix?
The original Matrix when it came out with a friend. First time he tells me about this, I'm in my 20s sometime, and I got one child at the time. And I go at like midnight, and I'm working at night at this point in time.
Yeah.
So I haven't worked until midnight, and I roll over to the movie theaters to go watch this
God.
Matrix movie because it was a thing back then.
Yeah.
It's no longer a thing.
No longer a thing.
And I'm
like
sure all the audience knows. They're probably like,
What are you talking
thing
about,
is
old man?"
They're like, what thing is he talking about?
that. What's The Matrix again? No.
Neo. We'll come back to that one day. But today,
Thunderbolts.
yeah, like you said,
MCU.
we watched the Thunderbolts.
May 2nd? May 1st.
Is it May 1st?
It's May
Okay,
1st, but
yeah.
it was dated for May
It
2nd
was
because
dated
it's
for May-
supposed to come out on
Fridays.
So May 1st.
May 1st, 2025.
Oh, geez.
And so the reason why we're doing this video is that after we watched the movie, we would always talk about it. And we thought,
Why not record it?
Maybe somebody else might want to hear what we're talking about.
And we've talked about these many, many, many times, right?
Many, many, many times.
Because we've done rewatch throughs, which led to us actually rating all of the movies on our own sort of made up scale from 1 to 10 that had its own criteria of what each number meant.
And maybe we'll go back
Maybe
one
we'll go
day
back and
go into the other movies. But I was thinking, I was going to mention that to him, that maybe we should go and do all the old movies too, but I don't know how many people would be interested in that.
And seeing all
your
those
thought.
maybe.
Right, and us talking about those. People like to hear the newest things, but maybe.
We can talk about it.
So we've rewatched them all except one.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that one at all.
No, I'm saying a rewatch. So
That's because we didn't finish it. That's a different problem.
no, we never.
Oh, that's right.
We never turned on
That's
Ant-Man
right.
and the Wasp.
No, we turned on Ant-Man and the Wasp. We turned it off. The one we didn't watch was Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Because we got to Endgame and then we were like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, that's right.
we
That's right.
finished Endgame and we were like, all
never
right,
even
cool.
turned it on. That's right. Yeah. So we went and seen all the movies in the theater, and we've rewatched them more than once, but at least together we've rewatched them all together
Yeah. And with the intention of we always talk about it
to talk
afterwards.
about it, right, and see what our newer opinion. Because we've seen some of the old movies that when we first saw it, we had an opinion about it, and then on a rewatch,
Totally different.
it changes or adjusts or grows. We don't know it, but it gets a little difference in a rewatch. Some for the better,
For the worst.
and some for the worse.
There's one that I've gone like up and down on a bunch, but
Which one?
Black Panther.
I
know. I started here, came back down here. Now I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know anymore.
No, Black Panther is one of my least favorite of them.
I know.
I mean, it's in the top bottom 5 in my opinion. Bottom 5.
Okay, we don't need to we don't need to get into that one right now. We're here for Thunderbolts.
Well, for Thunderbolts, I will say this: not in the bottom 5.
It's definitely not in the bottom 5.
So that's good. So before we came to go into the theater, we were like, what are our expectations? And we were like, we don't want ground floor. We don't want bottom 5. We'd be happy if we get a watchable movie. That's all we were looking for, because the last few movies have been what?
Captain America, Falcon, New World Order. That was the last one we saw, which was
it was below the floor.
It was really scraping the floor.
I thought it was watchable.
Barely.
I
think we came out, it was barely watchable.
Barely watchable.
Before that was, I don't even remember. Was it the Captain Marvel one?
No. I don't remember. I'll have to go back. But
Deadpool. Deadpool was the last one.
Is Deadpool in the MCU?
It's in the side MCU.
Meaning in the line, in the story, that we don't even know what the story is. But
we don't know the story.
Yeah. But Thunderbolts. So we were in the theater, like we want to talk about it immediately in the theater, but we wanted to give the audience the raw our first thoughts on it.
Oh,
so let's get to it. What do you think?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I thoroughly.
I can tell you were. I can tell.
Yeah, I can tell. Like, don't get me wrong. Not the best MCU movie, but a long shot better than some of the recent MCU films we've watched by like a mile. There was pacing. There was actual character development and dialogue that was interesting. Some solid jokes, I felt.
Oh, I like the jokes.
The action was good.
Solid. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I will give them props for doing something different with the villain, instead of it just being the normal big purple bad, personally.
Fair. Fair. The only thing I'll say about the villain part is too early in the movie, I already know the end. How they tell the end? Sure. You have to watch it yourself and see the video. We won't tell you.
Well, that's the thing. Do we want to do spoiler talk in this at all?
I mean, we can spoil it, so you can say what you want. I'm just saying, like, for the audience, I won't tell you when in the moment, but I think in the moment, I knew what the end of the film was going to be. So I'm not, so to
That's
me,
fair.
To me, it was formulaic.
Yeah, but most of the films are formulaic. But
that's the thing.
An MCU film that tries to tackle something different in terms of its actual topic,
right,
in the content and material it's trying to tackle, I give them props for.
Okay.
Is it not the best? Like, it's not an art house film trying to handle that topic that they did, right?
Okay,
like, that's just going to be on a different level of, quality, or like an A24 film trying to tackle depression, anxiety, right? Is going to be totally different than a Marvel film handling those topics. That's already like out the gate.
I will give you that.
You know what I mean? So in terms of a Marvel film trying to handle some serious topics, I think it did pretty well.
Fair.
Personally. I'm surprised at how well I thought they handled those topics. For me, in that type of context.
I get you. Yeah, maybe my thing is, I don't deal with the topics. My point is they're blending, right? They're blending this. It's like, no, I want an action thing without that. That maybe I'm a little,
old school
with that, right? It's like,
there's nothing wrong. It had good action. That was the thing. I think it still had the good action bits, but giving us a story that felt more personal made it more interesting for me.
My problem was with that, it was too cliche.
Sure, absolutely. It was definitely just pretty straight on the how they handled the topic. Not going to disagree with that one.
Yeah, it was just, and I personally, when you said about the dialogue and some of them, That was like, yeah.
Really?
Substandard. I was unbelievable. I didn't feel it. I like the jokes. I'll agree with you. Like, funny, good pacing, have fun watching the parts of the movie. What got me down was having to listen to them talk. Not the funny guy, the guy, like, he's a little, like, it's a little bit of the Ant-Man, that sort of esque.
The Red Guardian
Yeah,
guy?
the Red Guardian, right. I mean,
that's just like, he is the comedic relief character, right?
And
David Harbour. But
they had good timing on some of the stuff they did with that, so I like that.
right.
I just didn't, the daughter's dad stuff,
I mean, to be
Maybe-
fair, the movie that they set that up in, not the greatest movie, right?
Yeah.
The Black Widow one.
Yeah.
So, like, working with what they can there, I think it did the best it could, taking what they established in the Black Widow movie and being like, all right, well, we need something to push this new Black Widow character forward. What do we do? How do we grow her into someone that is at least likable to potentially lead a new team or be a part of a team where she's not just the insufferable Black Widow replacement, right?
Yeah, I get that. Like, obviously, as you pointed out earlier, they had to grow characters in the movie.
Which was
Especially
like,
they were bringing,
thank goodness.
they were bringing a whole bunch of things together.
I mean, they had to tackle trying to do the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show characters,
Right.
the Black Widow characters,
Well, I mean, which Falcon and the Winter
the
Soldier?
Ant-Man characters. So Walker and
Oh, that's
Bucky
right.
are both,
Well, Bucky's
They're
Bucky.
yeah,
right. I got
but they're-
the Walker guy. Yeah, that makes sense.
especially Walker, but
Especially
both
Walker.
of them continuing the story that they did in that TV show.
Yeah,
for
but
them.
as we talked about, we thought they dropped the ball on that.
Yeah,
on
the
those
TV show was
shows that
terrible.
way. And what
beside
they did
the
with Bucky- and I think the Bucky character actually got substandard billing in this. My opinion on that. I think they overemphasized, and again, he gets, like, I'll say this without giving spoilers away. If we don't want to give spoilers away, you sort of, when he comes in there and he sort of sets them in their path, but then he gets kicked aside. I just thought that was, like, they couldn't have just let him lead because we have to live in this sort of world. Like, he came in, he was like, to me,
It would have been nice if that was his moment to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
he's
that's it.
finally like taking
Yeah,
the lessons he's learned from Cap and trying to put this team together. They almost. It was like almost
they did
there.
that again.
It was
exactly.
almost.
But they have to meet some. We're gonna get in that kind of, like, we're gonna go to some. They had to meet certain types of things they want to sort of voice, but it was like the better moment would have been his actual growth of his character
For sure.
to this point,
To where he can actually bring them together
And
in
then-
some capacity.
and it'd be more believable. Now, does that mean the other person now is in the? And we talked about this before. Black Widow from the original sequence, she was the lead and kept them in the right direction and was actually the glue, and she was a great character. She did not have to be the head
Right.
for her to be a great character, but now it's like, oh, we have to make this other person a great character and be the head.
I don't even personally. I didn't get the impression that we have to see them in their next outing.
Yeah,
That's my
okay.
impression,
That's-
because I feel like they made a point of it's really all the characters working together for this film, and it's not
the
just
two got a lot more.
sure, but you have to have main characters.
that's what I'm saying,
You know what I mean? Like, so if we're trying to say, okay, new Black Widow is definitely Yelena's the new sort of main-ish character.
Right.
Having Bucky and Yelena sort of support each other,
As they grow into these roles, or
I think is a good
develop a
idea.
role.
And,
Okay.
and maybe we see some parallels to their dynamic as Cap and Black Widow when they were running their team.
Hopefully not too much. I get what you're saying.
Not too much, but like
Yeah,
we
like,
can see how that they start to work together
Right.
and become sort of their own dynamic that works into
Right, 'cause
leadership.
That was the thing. Cap and her were like right and left handers
Exactly.
of each other, right? And we didn't really. Everybody took Cap as a leader because that's just what that character did.
Right, but
It's
he
just like,
really
okay. Yeah.
worked with the whole team, and
Oh,
especially Black Widow.
Especially Black Widow. You
Yeah.
trusted her, right? Yeah. And they had that relationship that we could see if they could do it with this. And
Yeah, we'll see.
again, is it going to be replication? They can still make their own of it. We'll see. But yeah, for the movie itself that we watched, we're getting a little.
We're getting a little off topic
Like,
here.
we every time we do these, we talk about how it fits in the larger picture. So that's
That's normal.
fair. Yeah. But I think like you said, like if we do ratings now, I'll give my rating first if you want, or you can give yours.
Should we run people through what the different ratings mean, or just give the numbers?
you
And you
can.
can do that later.
You can. I mean,
Do I still have that hiding somewhere?
you had it in that. Didn't you have it in our big list?
I did have it in the big list. Oh, I deleted keep notes off my phone. That's what it was.
It's gone?
No, I have the list. It's just not on my phone anymore.
Oh, where's it on?
It's like in the app. That's fine.
Oh, you got to bring the app back and
Yeah,
then
all that stuff.
it'll have all the data in there.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so yeah, what's your...
my initial, watching it once.
So this is rating before we're like getting into any spoilery talk.
Yeah. So, again, without them, so I like like you said, the action was good.
Action was...
I think there was some key moments where the music and where they place it in there really lent to the scenes.
It was very sparing, the use of music, but I
Right.
think it actually helped
Yeah.
in comparison to when we watched Falcon, or sorry, not Falcon, the Captain America Brave New World. It was
Yeah.
like incessant with the background music
China.
and trying to like evoke stuff. This was very minimal,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Yeah.
I think it was a nice change of pace in terms of the feeling.
It was more about the story.
Yes.
And they thought they had enough in the story that they didn't have to sell you.
Yes, they didn't have to fool you into it
Right.
with the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If you get a good movie in general, if they put music in the right spots and don't overdo it, they really evoke something. And then when they overplay it, they know they got a bad movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, just off the top, off the rip, I'd say it definitely hit average in terms of that. It was solid, fun enough to watch. So if anybody wants to go watch it and you like,
I would recommend watching it.
I would recommend, it's better than most of the stuff that's out. I give it for me, a solid 5. I don't know if I can get past a 5.
That's crazy.
I
I was like,
Where are you at?
I'm sitting 7 keeps popping in my head.
7.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay.
I would say it's like in good tier for
Good
me.
tier.
It's in good. It's above
What
average.
gets you good? What good? What is that you get good out of it? I'm just.
The action was good, right? The action was solid. The trying to balance a more serious tone in terms of topics and storyline within the MCU in action schlock movies, right?
Okay.
I give them credit for trying to do something different than just Captain America beating up the Hulk,
Oh yeah.
It's just like, can we... Like, that movie was so bad. The
And he didn't even beat
pacing
him up, and it was unbelievable.
was
Go ahead.
so dumb. But what really got me was the quality of the pacing of the story and how there was defined scenes that flowed between each other, and there wasn't just... Every scene wasn't dialogue for the sake of we need to move the plot forward. Sometimes they were just having banter, which I just kind of miss from these movies. Was the light banter, between like
That's fair.
the group, and
Yeah.
you can see it feeling like them coming together felt more natural to me, like even better than the first time than the Guardians come together.
Well, you read my mind.
Like they're definitely a parallel group to the Guardians,
Sure.
but like the way you see them come together. Even on rewatch of the Guardians, I still don't like how they come together the best. It's sort of just like, oh, they're a group now.
Listen,
Just a little bit.
I hear you. We both agree on that. I think this falls, and it just falls into the same thing without spoiler alert. Just the whole
Yeah.
convoluted way that they're there, and they just. I just don't. It just doesn't feel believable with all the characters in a given situation.
Also, okay, random other thing. It
Okay.
gets an extra point for shooting a specific person in the head.
Okay.
If nothing else, it gets a point just for that alone. That made me pretty happy. Like, yeah, good.
I wasn't as invested in that, so it's not. I mean, I still think it's a little.
No, that's not.
little. I think it's a little hokey with the whole thing. It's as bad. My opinion is as bad as the Guardians of the Galaxy. No
I didn't
worse.
think it
No
was-
worse than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Worse? Maybe we have to
think
go
so.
back and watch Guardians again, but
I mean,
I liked
the problem with Guardians of the Galaxy is that it was again this sort of. There's no particular reason why they should be working together, and it comes too quickly. Same exact here, even though they give them one sort of common motivation, which was given the characters and characters that as they existed
were.
to that moment, unbelievable to me.
I think it made sense in the context of the scene and like what was playing out in the movie for them when they're going through the whole.
Go ahead.
I'm trying not to like, are we spoiling or not
No,
spoiling?
no.
So like when they're going through the whole thing of where they've been sent there to kill each other and they have to recognize that, okay, they're actually sent here to take one another out, is like a classic sort of bringing a group together sort of impetus point, right? Like
For the moment,
it's
I just
cliche.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So,
But it doesn't mean it's unbelievable, especially how they keep sort of
I said it
butting
was-
heads.
I said it was hokey. That's all. I didn't say it wasn't unbelievable. And it's believable within the context of movie telling.
Yeah.
I just didn't give it any points for it. That's all.
It's better than them just being like, oh, they weren't a group and now they are.
Writing this and saying how they make this, I don't have an answer. Like sometimes we come up with good ways. I just didn't find it that appealing to me. That's all I'm saying. That was all. Like I know it had to happen because they were doing it. I just, yeah.
I also feel like I just enjoyed it because it felt different than all the other Marvel movies as of late,
I will
Just
agree
a
with you
good
on that.
change of
Yeah,
pace.
That's why I gave it a 5.
We've watched a lot of bad Marvel movies.
A lot of sub 5s, a lot of 3s and 2s and 1s.
I mean, since Endgame, there has been a handful of good movies and a lot of bad movies.
A lot of bad movies.
So this was nice to see something I was like, oh,
I was
this
saying,
is pretty decent.
I was fine with the movie. It was a good movie. It was okay movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's just an average movie.
Back to give me some more. Like maybe we talk about it, maybe I can come up to a 6. Like maybe something I didn't, I like you said, I like the action in there. It was like you said, the pacing.
The pacing
I thought was pretty
real
good.
Like we watched Eternals trying to juggle 12 characters, and that movie went on for hours. It
Yeah.
felt like that was terrible. Like I'm just saying.
Eternals was just a bad.
That's a bad movie, but I'm just trying to say, like, the pacing of this movie.
I think the Eternals, we had to give it to 1 because we have a rule that we can't go below 1.
Oh,
It should be
it should have been
below 1, but
we
it's between
reserved
1 and
that.
10. Yes, it's between 1 and 10, and not 0 and 10. We should have said that in the beginning, but
no.
no.
Yeah, so the
So you say
character
7?
dialogue, I think I'm still good with a 7. The minimal use of music, the topics they decided to talk about, using, yes, the way the villain plays out is pretty, you can see it coming, but
it's like a
instead of
brick.
just doing...
But they didn't even, well, I'm saying, even though you could see it
I think they
coming,
executed it well. That's what I'm saying. Even though it wasn't like something new, like a new take on the thing, it was new for the MCU, and I think they executed a pretty standard type of playing out of that character,
I was sitting there as you were saying and thinking about, without giving the spoilers away,
And the last sequence going through the thing was actually really cool. For me, I thought that was pretty cool.
It's okay. It just gave me similar vibes as to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, for sure. But like it was
fine.
Those are the parts that are good about Doctor Strange, are the visual parts in that when they do those things.
I just add that into the action. It was, It's
separate because the second Doctor Strange tried to do those things and did not execute them well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think they tried to up themselves. Here, they didn't up themselves. They just created a different environment and replicated the sort of same thing without trying to up it.
Took what worked and removed the parts that didn't work.
Right. And
which I think it gets credit for.
And made it
or deserves credit for.
Unique to that particular story.
Exactly.
And I like that part. So I like that was solid in terms of explaining that. I was just
Also, the shock factor of
that was good.
That was not
only get out of the way.
That was good.
Trust me, if I tell you this here, it will ruin the movie for you.
That was so good.
There's something in there that's so good, and when you see it,
you're just like, what?
You know what we're talking about. And if you can comment in the comment as to what scene we're talking about, you will know. It's really good.
It's so good.
And they barely get movies.
They barely ever let that happen in movies, especially one of those.
They don't let it happen, but they barely get good things in movies that just really catch the audience.
That snapped.
So
good.
I've watched, just for the record, so you know, I've probably watched
Way too many movies.
Way too many
Way
movies.
too many movies.
Of all qualities and kinds and stuff. And I've seen all kinds of scenes, and it's very seldom that they catch me, but they caught me on this one.
You gotta give them an extra point for that at least.
All right, 6.
Thank you.
I'll give it 6.
Thank you.
It is a really good one. I get caught very seldom.
Yes.
And they got me good.
Cause you're like sitting there, you're like,
it was perfect.
Oh.
It was like a perfect moment.
It was so good.
It was so good. Maybe perfect's a little overblown.
It was solid.
It was super perfect in the moment. You gotta wait till you see it. Wait till you see it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: by the time you see this video, the movie will probably be out for a long time.
Long time.
And if you ever watch it and you comment and you know what we're talking about, you'll know what we're talking about.
I'll make sure to edit this as fast as possible, but we'll
put it up just because it's current.
Yeah.
We don't, even though it'll be the first video on the channel, we don't know what's next to come.
And this lighting is terrible, but oh well.
Hopefully the sound goes okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
And I would
Please tell us anything you think that would be helpful.
We're gonna put this up. We didn't talk about it. We'll talk about it in this moment because I think we've done that. We'll put it up as raw, just like okay. We'll see what it looks like and how it goes.
Yeah, I'll put it.
And
I'll very minimally edit anything.
And what would you edit?
Probably like a couple spots where I like looking for the list maybe.
Just keep it normal. Keep it normal. We talked about this beforehand. I'm sure everybody that makes videos have talked to themselves about what they're going to do. We were like, we're going to go into the theater.
We're going to do the thing.
We're going to watch the movie. We're going to come out and try to get it close to the time that we saw it as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think part of the problem we have to think about this is that we usually talk about the scenes and talk them through, and we have the spoiler alert. So maybe we'll have to.
Maybe we'll just have to accept that we're going to spoil things.
By the time somebody watches this, they would have already seen it, and if they haven't seen it yet, they weren't going to go see it.
Or two options: we spend like 10 minutes saying, "Okay, we're gonna not spoil it." Then we're like, "All right, let's just talk about the movie how we usually talk about it."
Yeah, but usually how we talk about it is we talk about the actual scenes.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the actual scenes. I don't care. Spoiler alert. Done.
Yeah, if anybody is still watching the video after 27 minutes, we've either done something well, or
you've fallen asleep.
Your lives are as bad as ours. I don't know.
And I hope you enjoy your.
All right, we'll just talk about the one scene.
You want to talk about that one scene, or
is this the best scene? No, because I don't know how we can say it. What scene you want to talk about? I don't know. I just
trying to record for this is very different than like us just talking to each other.
No, I'm just talking to you. Like I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the audience and to you about it, so it's a little of the two. So
yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little bit of a difference, but I think.
Yeah,
in terms of, I would say I did like Elaine from Seinfeld's character.
Yeah.
And what they did, that was actually, she does a really good job.
For sure.
With her character. And it's nice to see that where we've seen it through some of the other things, it finally coming out.
Oh, yes.
And the weird relationship with the assistant. I thought that
was good.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. So that's why I liked it.
Especially introducing her as a new character that we hadn't seen before, and giving us that sort of the Ed boss dichotomy between them. That was nice.
Well,
but then also you kind of get the sense that she's also not so great either by the end too. I like the unclarity of that.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not clear,
and that was kind of nice.
Yeah, that's nice. It's like they're in the moment,
and especially when they set it up to where you're kind of anticipating her to be, she's gonna curtail and become a good guy and tell Bucky what's going on, right?
No, I didn't. I thought that.
That was the impression I got, at least.
I think that's the impression that they were trying to foist on us.
Yeah.
Because it was too in our faces, so I was thinking the whole time that she's not going to do that. And I'm not saying I knew that it was going, like, she did trick them, and I don't know if she was part of the trick or not part of the trick, because they don't really get that away.
Which is also a good thing.
Right, I'm saying, so that was good in the movie, like, not knowing,
all the characters where they stood.
Like, not predicting it. Sometimes we watch movies, and trust me, I can sit there and, like, 5 minutes into a movie, predict almost 3/4 of the outcomes of all the scenes, which in here I didn't, because they actually kept it where they didn't just kill you with knowing the motivations of the characters.
And they didn't just bludgeon you over the head with like a lot of, oh, we need to do this for this reason, or like this is how I feel all the time.
Right. That's what I'm
like
saying.
that was nice, and it wasn't. It was just so nice to watch a movie where it felt like you were watching characters or people instead of movie characters.
Movie scenes, yeah.
Yeah, movie scenes. Like
Yeah.
this is obviously, I am watching Anthony Mackie play Captain America, you know, and he's just like going through the motions of playing Captain America. This was like, oh, I'm actually getting sort of invested in the, you know, the disbelief sort of turned on, which was kind of nice.
Which you need, yeah. Well,
you know, like the
need that,
disbelief turned on, and I was in the disbelief enjoying it.
And you just watch the scenes unfold, so you can follow the story.
Yeah.
And you can turn yourself off and be in the story and watch
Which was
the
nice.
story. Yeah.
Which is why I still think it's a 7.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I will. You know, 7. As we talk about it and adding that context in there, in terms of looking at it in the broader picture, okay, I can get up to a 7.
Because like what we talked about, 10s are like near perfect movies, right?
Right, where you just along for the ride, and you're just all in the whole ride, and it's exhilarating.
Yeah, and like 9s are so close. They might have like a scene that just like a little weird, or maybe a moment that isn't perfect, but everything about it otherwise is great.
Yeah,
and at 8, you know, it's good. It's got good moments. It's got some pretty
more
solid.
good moments.
There's more good moments than bad. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 really like, yeesh, that's bad, but most of the movie's pretty good. And 7s are like a solid movie.
Yeah, it's above average, meaning that 5 is a solid movie.
5 is an average movie.
Right. 7 is there's some good stuff in there, extra good. So you know, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's some good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything that jumped out at me as bad.
Well,
to me,
I still don't like the dialogue with the whole.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
I'll give you that.
I think the dialogue in there, which is why I can't go above a 7.
You weren't feeling the banter, the character banter.
I liked some of the character banter. I just didn't like main character and her conversations a lot of times. They just felt. They
felt forced for you.
Not just forced, but I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it was the acting or the combo. Because there was other times, like you said, the banter between the characters in there and other spots felt
pretty
good.
Good.
I just didn't like her and her banter.
I think that's the first time I've liked her in that role, personally.
Well, I thought early in the movie I liked her in the role. I didn't like the transitioning part in the role. I just didn't feel it.
You didn't feel it?
I just didn't feel it. It just seemed forced.
Are you specifically talking about the one scene where she's talking to the Red Guardian after they get their butts kicked? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
there had to be that scene. To be fair.
No, it didn't have to be a scene. Let me ask you this question. Tell me the scene.
Oh.
Tell me the scene for the original Black Widow that's similar to that scene.
Well, in the original Black Widow was never.
That's right.
A main character.
No, but they never had this thing. We knew.
Yes, she did have a scene like that.
She had a scene.
It was in Endgame, right?
No, that's later. I'm talking about like leading up to it. I'm talking about like she's already transitioned by the time Endgame. The closest scene with her is that when she has that banter with Bruce Banner and she's like, she realizes that he's a good person. Mm-hmm. And that she can be a good person too.
I feel like she's had a couple moments, like even with Clint.
No, but I'm just saying, but it's more like they don't drown you with it. You have to infer that.
Yeah, it's more unspoken. And then this one, it was very like, I'm your dad, and I've seen you. There's light in you, Lillian.
And the story, I remember when you were a little girl and you just lit up the room.
I was like, oh, okay, all right, you can calm down there. But also, okay, to be fair, I think...
I'm just saying, they had to club us. I don't like the clubbing. They clubbed us on that.
I will argue in the movie's favor just slightly on that scene. I think it was within the Red Guardian's character and how he was being portrayed up until that point in the movie, right? Because he was even doing that like when he came and picked them up. He was being super hand-fisted with them at that point. I think that was just how they had decided to write the character and how he's sort of very direct, but also like very misses the mark sometimes in his directness, but also can like kind of hit something right on occasion. I think
like a scatter shot. He just shooting everything out there, and
he's unfiltered, and I think that was just continuing that same unfilteredness. And maybe it was like a little more than it needed in that moment. I think that scene was a little too long.
Yeah,
maybe, but I think it was still consistent with his character.
I won't argue that it wasn't consistent with his character. I just argue in that the dialogue, I didn't like the dialogue. I didn't like
the whole movie, or just like that moment?
Especially that scene, not the whole, and some of her dialogue, but like in that scene, it's just a bad scene.
I think you just don't like Florence Pugh. That's fine. You don't want her to replace ScarJo, and that's fine.
I do run into sometimes holding on stuff, and I try to look at it without framing the characters and having them, like if they replace something. And I saw the whole Black Widow movie in which she was in.
Ooh, that's a movie.
Which is another bad one.
Why'd they do that?
I don't think it's... No, I just really didn't like that dialogue in that one. They set it up. They just drove us through that the whole movie with you have to watch it, the whole talking about where to come up with the Thunderbolts name, which in the end they're not really using, which was another weird thing. But
which I think also played into the like jokeness of it having the little asterisk next to it. You're like, oh, it's because they're stealing the name from the soccer team or whatever, which is funny. I thought going into it was because Thunderbolt Ross, because that's his that's the Red Hulk. That's his name. So I thought, oh, he put the team together, but now they're like...
I think in the comics, that's where it comes from.
Right.
They didn't go with that storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought they were going to do something where like, oh, because he turned into Red Hulk, we're kind of disbanding this team, but they were going to be called the Thunderbolts, but now we're not really going to do that. You're just like, get out of here. So that's where I thought the asterisk was coming from. The change, whatever.
Maybe that was what the original thought was, but they wrote the script. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on where this landed in terms of being near the Captain America movie that just came out and what they changed in that one.
Yeah, but if that was, like, maybe they could have, again, it would then been how the group came together, and they still could have had the ending. They just could have came together for a different reason. That's all. Like, maybe they could have written the movie differently.
To be fair, they're not called the Thunderbolts anymore.
No, I know.
To be fair, that's just the name of the movie.
Oh, I know.
That's not the name of the group that they are.
But the thing is, it could have transitioned where they could have had it where he did start this group up in some particular way.
And then she rebrands it.
Right, with the whole...
What's her name again?
She's...
Julia...
Louise Dreyfus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can never get her name right.
I can't think of her character's name in the movie. It's
right.
De France or De Vincia or something. It's a D.
Not Defense. That was a good joke.
Yeah, you'll get the joke
that was
later
solid.
when you watch the movie. But yeah, I thought
the fence.
I just thought, like, if we were going to rewrite the movie, they could have did some of the stuff in the movie. Like I said, I think the coming together could have been where
I still don't like
they got put together. They can still tell their individual stories of who they are and get the ending where the guy who's the Bob guy could still be the Bob guy. Right.
They also did not do anything with that Ant-Man and the Wasp character.
I will say, everybody,
she got the least. To be fair, how she got from A to B, who knows? She just is there. And I thought they cured your thing in the last time we saw you.
We have to go back and watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't recall, because we didn't watch it. I really don't remember. We didn't watch it through the second time.
I swear she got cured in the end of that. And
is that what happened?
Yeah, because the mom... The Wasp lady comes back from...
It's not her mom, it's just...
Right, the mom character of
the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That group, right? Yeah. The Hank Pym group. Yeah. But, like, I thought she came back and, like, did a little... and took the bad energy out of her that was making her phase. Honestly? That's what I thought happened in that movie, but I could be wrong. It's been so long.
We'll have to go back and watch it, or we could just read the Wikipedia cliff notes to tell us what the end of it was. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I could really ever watch that one again.
I really don't want to watch that one again.
It just made me nauseous, which is a dumb movie with bad special effects. visually hard to watch.
We don't have to go roasting all the other movies. Too.
No, I'm just saying, like, in
But yeah.
particular, I don't recall because
Right.
we didn't do the second watching of it to know.
In the lab, Lang is soon able to help.
He's reading it now on the.
Okay, Ava regains control of the lab, allowing her to begin taking Janet energy by force. Lewis, Dave, and Kurt incapacitate other people. Pim and Janet return safely from the quantum realm. Janet voluntarily gives some of her energy to Ava to temporarily stabilize her.
Right.
Okay. It was temporary. Ava and Foster go into hiding. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's just gone for a bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like.
Oh wait, here, send people to harvest energy in a plan to help Ava remain stable. So what they did was not a permanent stability.
Yeah, but she seemed to be pretty permanent in this movie.
She seemed to have, I mean, she had control over it in
right.
the other movie too, to some extent, so.
Yeah, she was having a problem because she couldn't control when it happened and it was causing her pain. I thought
Right, that was
the
causing
issue.
her pain. So it seemed like she wasn't caused pain in this one
Yeah, she seemed to
anymore.
be in total control. We don't know. What's the length of time? We don't know.
She said like a minute she could do the phasing or something
right,
like that.
but we don't know what was the length of time between, in terms of an MCU time, between
5
the
to
Ant-Man and the
10
Wasp
years?
movie and this movie, and what she could have
Done.
grown and learned, and there's nothing talking about her backstory.
Yeah.
But she got...
2018 is when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, so
7 years if we just go with that.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that, as you pointed out earlier, they had to balance a bunch of characters.
Which means some characters get the short end of the stick.
That's not true, because if you watch the old Guardians of the Galaxy...
Because Groot has so much character development.
But he's integral. It's not... So she's the Groot?
To some extent.
Now, I thought it was more not Groot. She's more of...
Gamora?
No, the other dude.
Nebula.
No. She's the Jax or whatever.
Antlers?
No, we're talking about the original one. She's like...
Oh, she's Drax.
She's Drax.
No, that's
like,
Red Guardian. Red Guardian is Drax. The dry, like the,
Yeah, no,
the
I'm not
comedic
talking-
humor.
Yeah, I'm talking about but the amount of, like, real... He is nothing in that movie. He's like a
In the
block.
first one?
Yeah.
He's got
I'm
like
just
the
saying.
slightest amount because it's like, oh, he wants to have revenge for his family.
Yeah, don't get into that.
Yeah,
How he
but
got-
other than
how
that,
he got his butt kicked with the dude, it was such a sad, like, oh, he's this big bad dude, and then all of a sudden he just gets his,
But that was
gets the
good.
floor wiped up.
Yeah.
I'm just sad. He just became such a. They muted him. They did.
but I feel like that was intentional to like show that they had to set what's
power
his,
levels.
Yeah, the power
I
levels.
got it. Yeah. But,
Because if one character can take on someone by themselves, what's the point of the other characters?
yeah. Speaking of this movie, but we'll come back to that.
They had to work together.
Well, I said that's the
It's
reason
a story
why-
about friendship.
I know, but it made the dude too powerful.
He was so, but that was cool. Like
Nah, he was too powerful. And
he was
beat
so
him.
powerful.
Right. And
But
beat him. And
instead of just dealing with it the normal way they deal with the powerful characters, having it not be the singular focus of we just need to beat the person up
Nah.
was kind of nice. I was happy with the fact that, oh, yeah, we're gonna have to do something different. Or they tried to do something different.
That's fair.
I thought that was cool.
Made Bucky's arm look like it was nothing. Man. I'm just saying, like, Bucky's arm is going through a lot.
It's gone through a lot. A lot
though
of
he-
dishwashing.
Even after he got it souped up, it seems like it's still going through a lot.
I just,
Right?
yeah.
I don't know. And I always forget that. So
has-
Bucky has a super.
He has a different version.
He has a different version. Super. So it's not just the arm. Like, I think it's just the arm and stuff, but he's still strong. But we never really get, like, Captain America's gotten shot, stabbed, and stuff. You notice Bucky never gets those things happen to him on the frequency like Captain America would get, and he'd have to deal with it. Like,
Yeah.
they never show us, like, oh, what exactly can Bucky take?
Right.
Right? He gets hit with blows, but he's always got his arm sort of blocking away, that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, like, it's just, like, weird how they...
It's inconsistent.
Yeah, it's very
but I feel like
inconsistent.
most of the super soldiers are pretty inconsistent in terms of
Except the one.
what they go through.
Except the one.
Except for Cap.
We'll never talk
Also,
about
like
that.
Walker. This is like, I didn't remember that he got super serum.
Yeah, that was when he went off the rails. That's a term.
Right. That's right. Okay. That TV show was really bad. I think I purged most of it. But yeah, that's right. That's why he kind of goes a little.
Yeah, it
little crazy.
doesn't work with him well, right? And
Yeah.
everybody the only one it seems like has ever worked well with. They've always,
And maybe that's why Bucky also
is where he is, right? And it's
can't.
always always trying to see if he can get the right footing, and if he can overcome whatever it is that the serum does to people when they aren't in the right. Which is, this movie does the same thing with, right? The instability of the person who becomes a hero or not depends on who they are as a person.
The visuals in the end were really cool too.
Oh yeah. So I like the
that was
all through the movie. I thought they did some good things.
And the foreshadowing in that first scene, because you pointed it out with the shadows in the first scene, and that was like. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, oh, that's a cool little connection thing that
was nice.
either intentional or not, but.
Well, I don't know. I think they were trying to do out the famous fight in the hallway scene, but give it its own flavor. But now
with the
flavor
context,
they give it with the context,
it actually matches pretty well.
It matches really well. Yeah.
Trying to tell me it's a 5.
I mean. That's fair.
Come on.
That's 7.
And I think it was also really cool how closely it paralleled to the first time they introduced Black Widow. When in Iron Man 2 or whatever, and she fights them in that very bright hallway, and sort of the dejected version of the new Black Widow is in a dark, shady hallway, taking out people. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was a cool little visual parallel between the two.
I was going to mention that too. It was the elegance of the original one with the grunge of this one.
Yeah, that's cool. Trying to show how they are different. It's not just saying that they need
the carbon copy. Yeah. Here's always my problem. Sometimes you just get it right. I get they're showing the difference. Sometimes you just get it right with the one. And if you're gonna the whole fact that they have to bring in another one and sort of replace it, but while replacing her while not being her, I think it's a little annoying. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's just the nature of these movies.
No, they could have been a different. They didn't have to be a Black Widow. They could have been some other character.
True, but.
And I'll say this.
She doesn't really call herself Black Widow.
No, but I'm just saying, but we're making a connection because she's for the Black Widow program.
Right.
She's not the Black Widow.
No. The Black Widow is ScarJo.
That's the Black Widow.
Yeah, she's her own character.
Because that was her assassin name.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're called the Mockingbirds. They have another name that they go through. I don't remember. I don't think they're called Black Widows that they're trained as, right? I think she just got the name Black Widow, but they have in the Red Room, they train them to be Mockingjays or something like that, remember?
I don't remember.
So I don't think...
I believe you, but I just don't remember.
Yeah, don't hold me to it. Someone
will definitely correct you in the comments if they watch it and they get to 45 minutes in.
I don't think they're named Black Widows in that program.
Right.
But... I just okay, if you're gonna bring, I just don't think they should bring the Black Widow character just to replace it. They should just brought somebody else. They brought a whole.
But she's not. She is not.
She is not Scarlett Johansson.
And she's not being the Black Widow. No, we're in the same way that
just an assassin going from bad to good. Redoing the same story. Can't we get somebody else?
Yeah, but also Clint was in the same boat too.
No, Clint I don't think was an assassin.
Wasn't he?
No. Clint was not an assassin.
He worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah,
at least.
Exactly, but he wasn't an assassin. He was sort of the counter of those assassins out there with the same skill set. Yeah, he was sort of always on the good side. He's like Captain America-esque.
He was the, quote, good guy assassin.
He wasn't an assassin. He was just a well-trained marksman. Yeah. But not necessarily an assassin.
Yeah.
And what happened was, I think he must have gotten involved and he somehow saved her, or and
yes.
So she sort of repaid the favor, and he was able to help guide her towards this direction, and then Cap led her into the light, as they might say, right? But he gave her the
Cap
window.
did that for a lot of people.
Yeah, but he gave her Clint. He gave her the. Is he Green? No, he's
No, he's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, I must say. I'm always going to with his counterpart in DC, Green Arrow. He's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
He's Hawkeye. Oh my goodness. Not to be confused with Hawkman from the Justice League. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, the dude with the hammer.
Yeah, and he's got the wings. He comes from another planet. So, but yeah, if you're gonna bring the Black Widow-esque character in there don't make it the same. Like they just doing the same thing. Like she's going from, I don't know, just seems a
I
little
feel like she has a
ham-fisted.
different.
Arc. And here's a question. I'll ask this to you. She is the original Black Widow's sister, biological?
No.
Okay.
So that's the thing that they established in the Black Widow movie is that they're not technically biologically
Okay.
family, but they were
Family,
Red
that's right,
the Red Guardian and the other lady were posing as a family
Gotcha.
undercover,
That's
and
right.
they were the kids.
Yeah.
So for a long time they were
sisters.
training them to be like they
Yeah,
were
sisters.
sisters,
Gotcha.
pretending they were
That's what it
sisters
was,
until
yeah.
they incorporated them into the Red Room program.
And he's not really her.
They're not. Yeah, that's the whole
He's not
thing.
really her biological father either.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
But they
don't
still
know.
have that
Yeah.
relationship.
Now I remember. Now it's coming back. To me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So.
So I feel like also the way their lives have played out so far
Mm-hmm.
with what they've shown us in the universe, their character arcs are not one-to-one, and they're not playing them out in the one-to-one manner.
No, I'm not saying it's 1-to-1. It's just too eerily similar, not very interesting, and I don't like.
I think you're being a little hard on it, personally, but
Maybe it's that blue eyeshadow they started to overemphasize as it went later into the movie.
okay, we don't. That doesn't.
I'm
It
just
has nothing
saying.
to do
No,
with the actual character.
No, I'm not saying,
and
but
the
it's like
arc.
these little things that, like, why are they just like she was real dark, and that was sort of somehow that they started. If you watch through the movie, they went from they barely was that. Then they were getting real close-up shots around her face. You could really see the blue above the eye shadow, whatever it's called.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like, I just noticed that in the movie. It was just a weird thing. But yeah, again, 7, and we'll have to do a rewatch. And when are we gonna rewatch it?
I might.
You gonna go again? You liked it, huh?
I did like it.
What was that movie? What was the one we went and we saw it? Was it 3 times?
I've seen many of them many times, but I've seen the Spider-Man one.
Was it 4 times?
I think I saw some of the original Avengers movies at least 5 times.
No, so in the theater. It was
Oh,
something.
in the theater, yeah.
Oh, because it was something that we went. Yeah.
Because I saw the most recent Spider-Man with you, with my other friend group,
And with Sunny.
and with Sunny.
Yeah. It was the only time, like, I almost never rewatch movies. Surely, never rewatch movies in the theater.
If I really enjoy it, I will go see it again.
He will. I like a movie, and 2 years down the line, I can watch it again. I can watch movies over and over, but I never go to the theater.
Sometimes I
watch it
like
again.
seeing things that I might have missed the first time, and I don't feel like waiting.
Oh, I get it.
I want to see it again.
Nice star is now you don't have to wait that long. When I was growing up, you had to wait 6 months for something to
Now it's a couple
come
weeks.
out. So I was like,
I hope this movie does at least mildly well, because I'd rather Disney learn that more movies
yeah.
like this would be great.
well, if that's,
Personally, more movies like this would be great.
well, if that's the case, you need to get this video edited, put it on the
post
page, and hopefully,
hopefully someone will
other
see
people
it.
will go and watch the movie.
Please go watch the
So-
movie.
See, end the video because we're at what 53 minutes.
And we said we were going to stop at 30.
We said we're going to stop at 30, but he said clearly we're going to talk longer because whenever we do this, we'll be
always
there
talk
for
too long.
the longest time. But I would say recommendation, I go see the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, I go see it. It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
So if you got here and you're still listening to us,
Watch the movie.
watch the movie.
That's it.
It was fun.
Thank you.